The information and services contained in this program are intended for educational and entertainment purposes only, and are not intended as investment advice. Producers of this content are not responsible for the accuracy or validity of any information contained herein. Please consult your financial advisor prior to any investment decisions.
Hey everyone. First of all, the person before me was incredible. That was great. And I want to talk about how we can actually, help in this way. And I can tell you that we're already doing this. There's already tens of millions of dollars that we are creating with our network that go back to fund public goods. But more on that. So we're called Optimism. We're a layer 2 blockchain. So before that, let's do a little show of hands. Could you put your hand up if you know what Ethereum is? Could you put your hand up if you know what Optimism is? Okay, awesome. We still have work to do, though. But hopefully by this, you'll know what's up, and we'll be able to talk a little bit more in the future. We're definitely, I'll be hanging around. Would love to meet people here more. Do you guys know what button to press here? Kind of clear. Oh, there we go. All right, so, we live in a world full of incentives, right? In many ways, every single thing that we do, there's an incentive behind it. That's why we do it. A lot of the incentives in our society today is private. It's very individualistic. It's I got to do this for myself, and I got to get this career. I got to do this. And it's very, very personal. DAOs allow you to have collective incentives, which change the whole structure. And there's a mysticism in blockchains where you can actually program incentives. And what I mean by that is, let's say Ethereum, right? Ethereum lets you program money. Money lets you program incentives. Incentives lets you program entire societal structures. The power here is now anyone can program incentives, right? You don't have to be a king to make a new governance system. You don't have to be chairman of the Fed to make a new monetary policy. You can be in a basement and create structures that millions of people use that generate billions of dollars, trillions of dollars, right? That's the true power there. So, coming to talk about Ethereum, we can think a little bit about how Ethereum might be the most in-demand blockchain city in the world in terms of your activity, the amount of developers, just the growth, right? But the issue is it can get a little crowded, right? So let's say Ethereum's this big city, let's say it's Miami, but when there's a lot of people on Ethereum, it's damn, the traffic, the gas fees, it goes up, it gets slow. So, it can get crowded. How do we fix this? Enter Optimism, right? So just like big cities need skyscrapers and highways, you see them in Miami, to accommodate for more people, Ethereum needs Optimism, right? So we scale Ethereum. We're still on Ethereum. We are still Ethereum, but we help scale it. We're the skyscrapers and highways that allow for Ethereum to prosper and allow for it to be, the city that everyone wants to be in. But what I want to talk about today isn't just the tech side. I'll probably happy to talk about more on how we do that if you catch me in the corner over there later. But I want to talk about how we're not just scaling Ethereum's tech, but its values as well. So our founders, Ben Jones, Carl Flourish, Jing Wang, along with the help with Haonan Li and Vitalik, came up with this concept of retroactive public goods funding. So what retroactive public goods funding is, it's giving someone funding for creating a public good retroactively after they've had impact. Not just giving someone money right away because they have a nice slide deck, but because they actually had real impact. And we retroactively fund them, right? The way in which we do that, I'll elaborate a bit more. But the goal is we don't want more financial martyrs. We live in a world today where if you want to go and help the world, you're okay, I'm just not going to make money then, right? You're just okay, I'm going to dedicate myself to this cause. I'm going to be a martyr, never make money. That's horrible. Why would we want to live in a society where people who want to do good don't make money and have to feel like they're sacrificing things? Right? And we do that by removing the opportunity cost of doing things that benefit the greater good. So right now, the opportunity cost, for anyone, might be you graduate from college. It's do I go and join Wall Street? Nothing wrong with that. But you want to go join Wall Street, or do I want to go solve climate change? The opportunity cost of me solving climate change is I probably won't make money. Right? Wall Street, clear path, I can make money. How do we change that? We are building a bicameral governance system, right? So that essentially gets all these network fees that Optimism generates, and votes on which public goods get funded there, right? So my slides got a bit mixed up. This will make more sense in a bit. Let's talk about a tale of two worlds, right? Let's say I want to plant trees for my life, right? I just want to dedicate my entire life. I want to plant trees. want to help the world solve climate change, etc. I go to a potential investor today, and I'm like, hey, can you give me $5,000 to plant trees? They would laugh at me. They'd be like, why? Like, I'm not a charity. I'm not going to give you $5,000. Like, I don't even know you like that. Like, I'm not going to give you money. So that doesn't work. The optimistic world and the world that we want to live in is I go to the same investor, say I want to plant trees, and then I tell them, I need $5,000 to do this. If I do a good job, Optimism, the governance collective I mentioned earlier, will retroactively fund me for the impact. So now you have this model in which you get this Silicon Valley VC flywheel effect for public goods. Now, where does the money come from? Right? Like, what is the opportunity? Like, what's going on here? This is Ethereum's fees. In one day, in a bear market, in one day, Ethereum makes $5 million in a bear market. This is deep. I took this I think 2-3 days ago, right? Like, it's not a bull market right now. $5 million in fees. Optimism obviously has much lower fees. We actually were 10x cheaper than Ethereum, 1,000x cheaper over the next year or so. But we also generate fees. This is our fees right now, right? We make around $60,000, $70,000 a day, and 100% of that goes towards public goods. 100% of the network activity fees that we generate, every single last drop, goes towards retroactively funding people who are creating public goods. And it's working, right? Optimism is actually currently doing 13% of all Ethereum transactions. Like a vast, vast majority, right? And you can imagine how that's going to grow. If you guys follow Ethereum a lot, it's basically set in stone that layer 2s are how Ethereum's going to scale. Optimism's a dominant layer 2 doing 13% of all Ethereum transactions. Right? Like now this is total value locked within layer 2s. I mean, it almost clips $6.5 billion worth of total value locked. It's early. It's literally we went on mainnet last year. And this is not just theory. I'm not just saying, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to try to do this. We've done it. We've done a retroactive public goods funding round. We gave $1 million amongst 58 public good projects on Ethereum in our first experiment. And this was our first experiment. So the next one we're going to do, which is going to be relatively soon, is going to be tens of millions of dollars, right? And it's going to increase more and more and more as time goes on. So if you want to, Vitalik wrote a review on it. We've looked at this model, we've tweaked it, and we're going to continue iterating on it. So this is, it's not just theory. This is happening today. So anyone who's building on the Optimism network or using it, you're all the fees that you generate goes to this. Now, I want to spend a little bit of time also talking about hyperstructures. Some of you may be familiar with a pretty famous essay by Jacob Horn about hyperstructures and crypto and what we're really building here. And it's this idea of we're building things that are eternal, right? We're building things that don't need us. We're building code that will run itself and help run societies in the long term, right? Hyperstructure's definition is a crypto protocol that can run for free and forever without maintenance, interruption, or intermediaries. These are some points for hyperstructures, and I want to talk about the red is what Optimism's doing in lieu with this. So hyperstructures are made to power millions of interfaces, not just one. Optimism's code base, we're an open source public goods project, right? The reason why we fund public goods, because when we started out as a public good, no one gave us money. This was 2017, no one gave us money. Right? There were money going all over the place, trying to scale Ethereum, no one's giving you money. We realized it's broken, right? The model for people who want to create open source software, public goods do not get paid. We want to fix that. So we're made to power millions of interfaces. We are the most forked L2. There are a couple of L2s around that have generated billions of dollars by copy pasting and forking our code, right? But we're okay with that because we're open source. This is the whole idea of it. The second thing is we've launched this thing called the OP stack, which allows anyone to deploy a fully customizable blockchain. So you want to do a Bitcoin rollup that uses zero knowledge proofs, you can do that on the OP stack, right? And it's all open, so we actually, Optimism empowers any developer, anyone who's interested in building something. We make it really easy for you because we believe we're here to power millions of interfaces, not just one. And again, all of this, right, all the fees that are generated from here go towards that pot of public goods funding. Hyperstructures use fees as a way to expand the ecosystem, not extract from it. I'm not here to say, come on our network, give us fees, it'll go back to early investors. That's not what it is. right? 100% of our sequencer profits, every last drop goes in towards retroactive public goods funding, right? Like, and we're making 60K a day in a bear market, so you can imagine how that scales over time. Hyperstructures take a protocol-first building approach. I think we're one of the fastest developer growth in all of crypto, like 1,000% increases. This is from Alchemy. You know, a lot of growth here. I actually, for my job, I speak to new projects and help incubate them, and everything from decentralized science to native Bitcoin usage to like DeFi, NFTs, games, everything. They're all building on Optimism. Zero-knowledge apps, they're all building on Optimism. So this growth is really crazy. Also, we're hiring, so like, if anyone wants to help me out with these, oh my God, that'd be great. So looking forward, right? Some last words here is like, we expect that as the collective grows, which is our governance system, the scope of what falls under the umbrella of collective public goods will grow along with it. What I mean by that was, you know, we eventually want to move towards climate. We want to move towards medicine. We want to move towards decentralized science. Right? We start small, but that is the future. We imagine a future in which the collective expands beyond the digital realm and enters the physical world. The idea that a decentralized ecosystem could reliably provide for basic human needs at scale may seem idealistic today, but it will seem commonplace tomorrow. And we start out small with a small sense of pragmatism, but we aim big out of an overwhelming sense of optimism. And together, we can all create the future of coordinated collaborative cyberspace. Thank you so much. If you guys are interested at all what we're doing, I'm going to be right over the back. I'm probably going to walk around a little bit. Always open to chat. And you know, you can, if you are interested in checking this collective out, if you just go to optimism.io or gov.optimism.io, you can contribute from day one. This is an open space, and we're trying to create an open world. So thank you guys for having me.